turn that bit off. There we go. Oh, it's so confusing, everyone. Bear with me, everyone. It's so confusing. Okay. I've been slick the last few weeks, but then I got confused. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Boys and the Baltic Start. It is season 2. It's episode 12. And thank you for joining us this evening. If you're a regular, we love you. You're welcome if you're part of our Discord crew. There's a lot of love coming at you guys. If you're first time here, thank you for clicking, maybe by randomly, maybe because you heard something somewhere. You're welcome. Please feel free to stay as long or as little as you like. Feel free to join in the chat or to lurk. We love our lurkers. We love our chatters. Just do what makes you feel comfortable, I guess. In the red sun, if you click the red sun, that is the channel points. There's a whole plethora, maybe dizzying, but each of them does have a explanation. I'll drink to that is always 1 credit so that anyone can do it at any time. And I'll always drink to that being 1 credit. I'll give you that much. But it's there. You can't take the credits with you, so save them or use them however you want. There's a couple that will affect the... Oh, a bid for Ben is a very important one, which I feel might have quite a lot of time being... There we go. I'll make sure it's in the right space. I think we might keep that on for much of the session because his face is naked as we... Socks, myself and Sparrow found out about this last night, very late. Too late to march down there and stop him, quite frankly. So we're in a bit of mourning today, as well as celebration of the stream. We are a Traveller tabletop role-playing game. Traveller is a sci-fi game that first came to prominence literal decades ago, and we play a newer variant by Mongoose, and that's what we do. Our ongoing story. My name is Luke. Hello, I'm in the bottom right hand corner in the blue background. I play Cara and Soraya. Cara is an arty, chatty, drinky, tradery kind of person who hides when there's combat because she's very weak. And Soraya, who is a jack of all trades, Han Solo, a bit awkward with people, likes to steal pot plants from hotels and give them as gifts. That's Mighty. Next to me, good bit of night botting, Ewan. Excellent work. Next to me is my colleague, my comrade, my friend, my buddy, my pal, my fellow traveller. It is Ewan. He's next to me, which is good because we can get one of our old-fashioned fist bumps in. Oh, yeah.
Get it if I can reach the side of my screen.
The zoom made it look like you had a little child's hand in my adult hand. It was very beautiful. How are you
Kind
doing?
of what hands are like anyway.
Pretty much if people ever see us out together. Fist bumps, yes. Tell us about yourself, Ewan. How are you doing anyway?
Yeah, me and my child hands are fine. Thanks for asking. I'm Ewan. I play Stefan and Agnar. Stefan is a roguey, streetwise, stealthy kind of guy. And Agnar is a Varga, or Wolfman. If you've ever seen Teen Wolf, it's nothing like that.
Right. I've seen Gladiator, if that helps. Gladiators. The wolf.
yeah. I was going to say Gladiators. The Gladiators, maybe. Former general, medic and military tactician. Likes to think he is anyway. Depends how the dice do.
He's always the king of our hearts, however the dice roll. It's always him that seems to roll a double one with a -3, though.
Yeah. Traditionally speaking.
What is life without tradition, after all? And finally, speaking of what life would be without things, 2 across from me, next to Ewan, is the smartest man in any room. The man who lives 24 hours a day in the Twin Peaks dream sequence. A curtain that for the last few weeks has been held up by topless, heavily oiled actors because his curtain rail fell down. Are they still there tonight, Ben?
Different ones again. Different ones. Yeah. They get to put it on their show reel. It's very important to them.
That is... And you're doing a bit for their... Yeah, does it go on their IMDb?
Bound to.
Oh. Look at all that...
It's weird that their IMDb page would be much more impressive than mine.
Exactly. So anyway, this is Ben. How are you doing, Ben? Apart from having a naked face.
All right, thank you.
Is your face cold?
No. Actually, I seem to have timed it about right for the weather, don't I?
It has turned. It's very nice. Oh, Vince, we've got to move it, I'm afraid. Sorry. It's just too alluring. I can't concentrate properly.
It is a wonderful, wonderful picture.
Right, you can come back for some points. Don't worry. You can come back.
Do you know how many points Socks and the Sparrow have got between them, Luke?
Enough to keep you on the screen for the whole stream, I'm guessing.
I would imagine so.
Oh, man. Okay, oh, there.
It was much appreciated.
They could spend it on giving us extra boons, but oh no. It's on pictures of you at 35,000. Oh, God. I'll just leave them there for a while then. Okay. So on that bombshell, Ben, what's going on? Why are we here tonight? What? It's Friday. What's happening?
Right.
Kelly, you're right.
Oh, Kelly, welcome.
So it went a bit. Cheers then, like with Norm. Kelly.
So, last time, Soraya took the opportunity for a date with a Tim, which went swimmingly. On receiving the call from Corin Stelt, trader in sand crate anti-venom, Suda was collected from his alleged cafe and delivered to the hotel where she could be swiftly robbed of some of her healing blood to save Sammy's life. Sammy seems to be on the road to recovery, at least, though Girk Sutter, the medic, is exhausted and Agnar has had to take over the monitoring of the patient while he gets some sleep. Stefan, who needs to practice being sneaky from time to time so his stealthy doesn't atrophy, followed Suda back to the ring. She briefly stopped in at Stelt's cafe before going to a place of residence, a low-rent place called Ummer's Rooms. Returning with allies, Stefan staked out the location from outside, Kara joining Zoe in a local bar. Rose joined Soraya in booking a room for the month at the place and went upstairs to their stable-like quarters after meeting Ummer and negotiating a price. But as Suda showed Soraya where she would be sleeping, she managed to get a second of fleeting privacy to whisper, "Get out while you can." And that is where we resume the story.
What an ending it was.
I like this one because normally we both sit in a little bit of silence while we, decide what we're going to do or who's going to go first. But this is Luke. No pressure.
And the thing is, right? The thing is, I've known all week that it was going to be starting with me, and I still haven't worked out what I'm going to do. I've had a lot on. The weather's been nice. I spent all day sitting outside the barber's watching Ben get his beard chopped off and crying and wiping the window with my tears. So that was today. That was here. You thought it was raining. I've got a box of it under my desk for later. During break, I'm just gonna put my face in it and go. Okay, so if I'm right, just as a recap to this room, to stay here, it doesn't have a proper doorway, so you have to stay in your face mask the whole time. Is that correct?
This place, it has a door that theoretically does filter the atmosphere, but it isn't particularly well constructed. You could take off your mask for a little while periodically if you knew that people weren't going to be constantly opening and closing the door, but I wouldn't rely on it.
So that was just the people that are there even sleep with their mask on and only get sweet release when they go somewhere else.
Pretty much.
Oh, a Cara boon. Cara always loves a boon. I'm writing that down. Cara boon. Thank you, Kelly. Cara needs all the help, especially if there's combat involved. I know, Fizz, it's supposed to be. We'll keep Ewan on there for a little bit. That's escapism, isn't it? If we keep keeping Ewan on the screen, it's a bit. We do love Kelly.
No, that's
what
I look like in real life.
He's got the costume right there. She was just too embarrassed to put it on today. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's no escapism. It's just every Saturday.
Especially around Easter, a very busy time of the year for you.
Yeah, exactly.
What houses to hop to. So Rye will have, as she was sort of whispered that by Suda, her sort of blood would run cold a little, because not that she's been, because she went in feeling suspicious anyway, and not that she'd relaxed that much by the surroundings, but even she'd almost sort of forgotten quite how edgy things could be, I guess. Can she kind of look over? Can she catch a look of Suda's eyes, or is she saying it sort of away from her?
She's right next to you. You can certainly throw a glance sideways, yeah.
Yeah, can I throw a glance to see if there's anything within her eyes?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. What are you trying to determine? Are you sort of trying to find out if she's hopeful that you'll help her, or trying to find out if she's just desperate and trying to help you, or what?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the thing, because the get out while you can. She could have that hopeless look of, I have no more chance. You get out, or there could be that's like hopeful, longing spark in her eye, I guess.
It looks like roll an intellect check for me.
Ooh.
Just intellect.
Just intellect. Okay. Oh, hang on. I'll get them warm. And what I will do is I'll set up my dice rehab zone, which I believe people that get to month 6 of subscription get for free. Well, not free, because you've had to pay for your subscription or used your Amazon subscription, your free Amazon sub. Let's get the dice rehab warmed up. Let's put a couple on there as well. Put them 6 up, because that helps. Here we go. It's because I didn't warm them up. Snake Eyes +1. Here's 3.
Oh.
Oh, indeed. Oh, indeed. Oh, it's going to be one of those nights.
It's because you called Agnar out for rolling the double ones for the milestone.
The karma of the universe. Oh no, that was Carver doesn't have the boom fids. This is Soraya.
Okay, it's not clear, unsurprisingly.
It's alright, Fitzcarver's outside with Zoe, waiting to jump into action if needed. She'll definitely need to roll one today, I'd imagine. Okay, has Harel sort of like just pointed it and just wandered off straight away, or is she still there?
No, she's staying there. You get the feeling she's sort of hoping that that she can leave anytime soon, but she hasn't yet been waved off by anyone.
Okay. Soraya will say to her then, she'll say, thank you for that. Is there like a shared bathroom or shower or anything like that we can use? How does that sort of thing work?
Yeah, downstairs there are facilities. Just make sure you follow the signs.
Okay. Is there anything else expected of us and our behaviour while we're here at all? Or just stay quiet, keep out of everyone's way and pay every month?
That would do.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Can you recommend anywhere to grab some food that isn't too expensive nearby? You don't do any here, do you?
Yeah, there's food available here. I don't necessarily particularly recommend it for quality, but it's cheap, and it's fairly plentiful. If you go downstairs and go in at the side door rather than the front door, there's a little kitchen diner area, and there's food there. All the all the time. Just help yourself.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Looking at Harel, does she look dressed and in the manner of someone that would just be working at a scabby place like this? She doesn't look particularly fancy or particularly standing out, does she?
Her clothing is not particularly distinctive. If anything, it would be the way someone would dress if they genuinely didn't want to stand out pretty much anywhere.
Okay. So Harel's not distinct. And her natural... Well, I'm guessing her face is behind a mask anyway, is it?
It is, but it's the kind that you can essentially see her face through.
And anything there that stands out?
No, there's a slight hardness perhaps to her eyes. Looks like she's been around the block a few times, but nothing particularly unusual.
Okay. Well, thanks. I really appreciate that for showing us and sort of letting us know a few bits and pieces. Don't let us keep you here any longer if you don't want to be.
Cool. Without looking back, she turns and wanders out, already taking her communication device back out to check her messages.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I wonder if she follows Cara. It's a big swerve. Good legendary, thank you. I hope you're doing well. Has Suda wandered back over to her bed, or is she still nearby?
She's carefully watching Harel leave, and just standing right next to you watching.
I guess as Harel leaves, Sora will turn to Suda and say, "Whoa, what? Man, my blood run cold. What do you mean? What do you mean? Are we in danger?"
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
From what? Not you, I hope.
Everyone who stays here eventually can't leave, you know?
It's the Hotel California.
Or Amsterdam.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Just like that. Oh, man. Is it because people find reasons to leave, lose the will to leave, lose the desire, the income to leave?
I don't think you see many people with major life goals ending up here, but the reality is a lot of people get here because they don't have anywhere else to go. And then one way and another, they end up hooked on drugs, or they end up taking on a deal they can't get out of, you know?
Have you been in this place for long?
Yeah.
And have you gotten yourself into a deal you can't get out of?
No, that's not my problem.
Oh, so it's the other problem.
Yeah. I've got to stay close to where the venom is, you know?
What would you do if there wasn't any venom, or you couldn't get to it? Would there be any point in you... Could you carry on, or could you see no point in it?
As I understand it, there is no coming off it.
Is there like artificial stuff or anything like that? You have to excuse me. I'm new to the planet. We've only been here a few days. You know. Is there any this? You know, I haven't really heard of this before.
It's, I think, not something that can be replicated. I think that's how Stelt makes his living. And let's just say I didn't start using that stuff deliberately. So if I were you, I would stay away from drinking or eating anything here.
Are you saying they spike it?
I don't know.
That's a really good tip. Actually, this stealth, his snaky tentacles spread out far around these back roads.
I don't want to give you the impression that he's the worst thing that happens to you here. He may, in fact, be the best thing that happens to you here.
How does he compare to Uma?
I don't know that they really know each other all that well. But Uma is not a nice person. She can come across as a nice person, but she isn't.
Would you say that her thought on me and my friend here entering in sort of, with not much else choice and entering here for a month, in her mind, that's us here now?
Yeah, pretty much. She probably reckons you're lifers.
Have you ever seen her trying to stop people leave?
Not with force, if that's what you mean. I think she arranges it so she's really the only place they've got to go.
I'm guessing there's places around here that, other cheaper places to stay would turn down people like you. For I'm not being rude, but I'm guessing your choices are limited.
Yeah. There are times when I'm waiting for a fix when I become pretty much soporific, and it's hard to function. Here, they kind of understand that.
If you were still, clearly you've said like there's no way out of the drugs really, and your link with Stout. If you had another place that you could live, would you, somehow, do you think you'd be allowed to stay there, or would she come dragging you back?
Stout keeps talking about wanting to expand, get a bigger place, start putting in his own accommodation for the people he works with,
Yeah.
And maybe get some of the animals that are naturally immune and start doing work on them, see if they can be used to turn out a more financially successful and portable antivenom. But I mean, the guy's got money compared to me, but he's not rich, and he's constantly looking for a place where people don't mind having, well, frankly, sand crates and potentially even Moabs living next door to them.
Yeah, which is limiting your options, I guess, for people.
Yeah, for some reason, people don't want to live next door to them any more than they want to live next door to people like me.
Oh, man. Has Stout been looking long for a new place? Is this like an impossible dream, something that he's wanted for years and years, or is this quite a recent thing?
He only mentioned it to me a few weeks ago.
This is interesting. Do you think, knowing Uma as you know her, do you think me and my friend, she'll be quite happy to see us come and go a bit, at least for the next few days at least? She's not going to start blocking us and forcing us to, put the weight on us to eat and stay inside and stuff like that and come up with excuses?
I don't think she'll care. She'll assume that eventually you'll get greedy for some of the food, some of the drink, or I don't know how she does it. She creeps in at night or something. Who knows?
Oh, she comes in at night mostly.
But I'd keep an eye out for Mordor.
For whom?
Mordor.
Mordor. How are we spelling that?
Mordel.
Hang on, out for Mordol.
Del.
Del. Who's this Mordor?
He's a guy who keeps an eye on the place for her.
Like security,
follows people around
like
a bit.
A security guy, a handyman, a spy, a roguish character.
If a client gets too rough, then he throws them out, but also he keeps an eye on her interests, shall we say.
Got you. So he knows how to come down on someone, a bit of threatening, a bit of making sure that you don't argue back kind of stuff.
It's more than that.
Oh. In what way?
About a year ago, one of the guys who was here decided that he wanted to go to the authorities, and they, I guess, were interviewing him occasionally, and he was staying in some place they put him up on the other side of town.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, one morning, really early, we were all woken up and told to just jump in this big bus-like vehicle. And we were taken out into the desert. And Mordor was out there with this guy. And he killed him and buried him there. And then told us that the same thing would happen to us. And then they took us back.
Man, they're making a big scene of it.
It's a lesson you don't soon forget.
No. An interesting man. An interesting man. it is, isn't it? It's like happily joyful. Our whole stream this week is like. Luckily, we've got Save Dave tomorrow. That'll be silly. The thing is, I'm really bought into this.
Well, you say it's going to be silly.
I bet I'll make it silly. I'm really bought. Oh man. So just out of character bit for those watching, Ewan and I have had moral decisions in the past and before we started streaming as well. Haven't we? We've had some quite big things.
Yeah. And
we do like a moral decision. This is a good in that, not in a hey, it's good, but this is a doozy. I think Americans say. Do they still say doozy, or am I stuck in the 70s? With Mad
1870s.
I don't know, Ben. Did they say doozy in the 1870s when you were a kid?
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, you didn't grow up in America? No. Yeah.
Was there in America in the 1870s?
Yes, there was.
Oh, I know. It's pushing it though.
Just took a month to get there. I mean, I say, well, we know you're cool, Spez. You're a doozy of a character. Doozy of a person.
By definition, if you say it, it's cool.
Exactly. Okay. Thanks. We're going to pop out and go. We were hungry, but it sounds like the thing to do is go and get food elsewhere. Can we get you anything while we're out? You look knackered when we come in. I don't know if you know. Do you want us to grab you anything on our way?
No, I can't really eat up here, with the mask and everything. So,
of course.
I was just planning to go down to the kitchen and get something. Let's face it, it's not like I'm going to be affected by it.
No, that's true. It makes no difference now, I guess. Okay. Well, see you soon, I guess. And I'd say take care, but I think you're taking care in the way you know how to take care, I guess. And
thanks.
That's right. Stay frosty. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay. Sorry, I was going to give them details, but then I didn't want Tom to lean on her to get the phone details or anything, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. She'll say, come on, to Rose. She won't say the name or anything. She'll say, come on, let's go grab something to eat.
Good.
Yeah, I bet she said that as well. Yes, let's go.
So yeah, Rose happily follows you out of the room as Suda goes to curl up on the bed again, back in her own sort of stall. She looks with it, but exhausted.
Yeah, got you. She's been for a lot. Had a big day. As Soraya and Rose head out, I want to text Stefan. The walls have ears, you know. Walls have ears. I want to text him to say we're gonna join Kara. Can you keep an eye on the guy outside and find a way to make sure he doesn't follow us?
All right.
Cool. And then so I'll head outside and sort of look around, trying to be casual, I guess, not stare for him. Like when you come out of a door and you sort of like, you just have a quick sort of look left and right to see where the best place to go for, am I going left? Am I going right? Is it busy? What's the weather like? That sort of thing. Would she spot him in that sort of moment? This guy? Is there anyone there?
Roll a streetwise check for me.
I will. Oh no. I won't spot
you can have intellect with that.
Okay, that's good. Right, they're on the dice rehab zone. Let's see if it worked. Let's see if it's worth people buying one. It could be okay. It improved them up to 5. Plus 2 is... Oh, no, sorry, 6. 6 plus 2 is 8.
Okay. There is no immediate sign of him.
Okay. I'd like to make for the bar that Kara and Zoe are at, but can I go not the most direct route, please?
Yes, you can.
And as I do it, can I sort of ping to see if Stefan has spotted us?
Stefan will have spotted you because he's actually watching the building, but he will be more or less on the direct route, so you're not going to walk close past him.
Yeah, cool. So I'm assuming that, so I'm at this moment, I don't know anymore, so I'm assuming that sort of he knows what's happening, and we're going to head off and start our foray into the roundabout route, please, Ben.
Okay. All right. Well, depending on how roundabout you want it to be, do you want it to be like shake a tail kind of roundabout?
I want to do it, but I want to do it as if it looks like, well, we're new to a place and we're trying to find out where should we go. This, I'd be a bit verbose about it. Where are we going? This way? That way? What looks at that?
Take in some antiquing on the way.
Oh, yes. We love a bit of antiquing. Yeah, maybe buy some paper, some letterheads or something. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Some buckyball merch. It'll be hooky around this part of town, though.
Okay. Yes, it's not hard to pick a sort of fairly random route through here because the way the ring is structured means that though the individual circumference routes are largely straight, if you know what I mean, even though that's intrinsically not true, they are curved. But you know what I mean, in the sense they're a sort of straight avenue all the way round. The roads cutting through them are intrinsically not at even spaces in any way, because that would mean the blocks just get increasingly big as you
yeah. Like a dark
So
horse.
there are lots of random little cut widths, and it's really easy to cut your way through whichever side, street you want, really narrow or or a bit broader and a bit busier. There are a few genuine cut-throughs from the port all the way out to the desert, which are intended mainly for vehicle movement. But as soon as you're on the largely pedestrian bits, it's very higgledy-piggledy.
Okay. Okay. So they're very much not going to be looking back. No more than sort of stopping to turn around and, have you tried this? No. Oh, look at this. Sort of, a bit of budget sightseeing, but not looking out for him because, like I say, that's all on Stefan. She's relying on him for this. So.
Okay, you find your way essentially by going around a few corners to what's essentially the back door or outward facing door of Degek's Inn, which is where Zoe and Kara have settled in for a quick drinky.
How are we spelling the name of the place?
Degek. Degek.
Degek. Degek Inn. Don't want to go past
Degek
because Degek's Inn.
Yeah, as in apostrophe S. Yeah. It is the Inn of Degek.
Oh, good old Degek. Sounds like a good person. Yeah. I don't want to go in until I've heard that we're clear to go in, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we'll wander in the vicinity, I guess, but not too far from it.
Yeah. So you're using Stefan to wipe your ass, basically.
This is best. He's held my hair back many times when I've puked in the toilet, so it's only one step up from there.
It's true.
Yep. No, that's fine. Socks, it's not my fault. That's actually the correct terminology. I'm sorry, but it is.
I think maybe in the circles you move in. Oh no.
So, Stefan, you witness them come out and wander off down a little side alley, and they've messaged you to say they're hoping that you will clear their six. Is that more appropriate for you, Socks? Are you happy with that?
Oh, here we go. As opposed to clear my sick, which again is the more common.
So I would like you, first of all, to make a streetwise check. I'm sorry, a recon check with intellect, please.
Okay. Should have been warming up.
No.
That is a 5, plus minus nothing.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Despite your best efforts, it's hard to keep exact track of where they are and where they're going, except, of course, you know their destination. Would you like to follow them to actually have another go as they go around the inn?
Yeah, he'll carry on. As long as he can still see them, he will carry on following at a bit of a distance.
Okay. Roll another. No, this time roll a streetwise for me, please. Not a recon. You're off to something slightly different. With intellect.
That is better. That's an 8 plus 2, the 10.
Okay.
Oh, good roll.
All right. You you begin to get the feeling that there is someone following them, and it's a sort of a sense that even though you're not watching their route exactly, you're seeing their path around the back, and you sort of get the feeling something doesn't feel right to you. And a few moments later, you do in fact see this man you've seen earlier cross over the street, looking deliberately casual, as if he too might be antiquing. And he seems to sort of gently follow them into the into the alley around the back of Degek's Inn.
Can I see down the alley? Is it busy? I guess. Is there a lot of footfall?
It's very quiet down there, down the outside face of the inn. And so he's essentially stopped on a corner and is watching them as they make their way towards the back door.
Okay, Stefan will... He'll call Kara on his communicator.
Kara?
Sorry, Stefan. He'll call Soraya.
Okay, sorry, okay. I was just checking. It could have been Kara. I was just double checking.
He will call Soraya.
Hey.
Yeah, you've definitely got a tail. Don't look around, but they're just hanging around on the corner by the alley.
Okay. Because of the cliff, that's very annoying if it did. Well, I'll be honest, man. He's not a good man, and how do you feel about a bit of killing? She's sort of half joking. Sort of half jokingly says.
When you say not a good man, do you know that?
Yeah, Suda told us. He's he does all the dirty work for Uma in that place. Keeps people keeps the young women in that in place. Kill people to prove a point. Spies on people, make sure they're sort of towing the line. From the sounds, it helps get them addicted and things like that. He's not a good man.
Well, if you trust her, I trust you.
She didn't give me a reason not to. And
Let's how's it looking down there? Does it get quieter off the main strip?
As I wander past Ben, the door, and carry on going down, is there a quiet alleyway that's quite quiet?
If you want to sort of disguise where you're going and just keep wandering past the door, yes, there's another one a little bit further on. Another alley.
Okay. I'll wander down there for now, just to see if he's gonna, I'm just going down a way that there's no reason for someone to follow me, if you know what I mean, Stefan?
Sure.
And if he does, let me know. I'll confront him, I guess, if I can, and then you make sure you're behind him. You got my back, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm there.
Okay. So, can we head for that alleyway, please? There's no reason for... Well done, Ben. He's doing the Lord's work.
Sorry, it's a new one on me. It took me a few seconds to find out how to do that.
That's right. We're going to get that... I can't do it now, Fizz, but for tomorrow, someone will remind me and we'll take that off Nightbot. I don't like that. I'm guessing it's there to stop other bots and other people doing that sort of click this for more followers and all that sort of stuff.
It's to stop people posting links into your chat, but unfortunately, when you create a clip, it posts a link to the Twitch clip in the chat for you. So
that one was automatically turned on as well, and I wasn't thinking about the fact that was that, and I'd much rather have to delete a click here for more followers once a stream than not have clips and that from you guys. So we'll turn it off tomorrow. Right.
Touch wood, it's been a while since we've had one of those.
We haven't, because we're just not popular anymore. People know. People know that there's no way we can get more followers.
We don't have money to pay.
They're not making money.
Anyway, apologies, Doc. It was completely unintentional. I do promise.
Well, that was pleasant and quiet while you're away. No, I'm joking. Unpleasantly, very unpleasantly quiet.
Okay, so you're heading on past the back door, and then turning off to the left, essentially.
Yes, please.
Can you, in that case, make another roll for me, please? I'd like you to make a streetwise check for me.
Okay. Streetwise. Can I use my intellect, perhaps, from my times in my scouting life of just knowing what to be spying on?
You know what? You can have social with it, not intellectual.
Can I choose not to have social with it? Can I just roll flat with if that's the case?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you. She's got the right social for this kind of town, but in the game it's a -1.
Oh well, hang on a minute. If you want to pitch that, that's not a bad idea. You can have +1 for your -1 social.
I think I've said this before. Her and Stefan are not great when it comes to hobnobbing with the rich and famous, but this is their setting, isn't it? Quite frankly, for both of them, this was their whole upbringing. All those pubs together, plotting
they
things.
They can sit at a brunch and eat cheesy balls.
Yeah, exactly. Brunch with cheesy balls when it's posh, getting down to business when it's rough and ready.
And Kelly's reminding you that you actually got a boon as well if you want to take it.
I've got to decide. If this is the boon time. Am I in Boon Town? Yeah, let's do it. Boon Town, population 1.
Hopefully not 1.
Yeah, population
Hopefully
12. While I'm rolling, while I'm sort of looking around and sort of being a bit aware of it, she's gonna say to Rose. She's gonna say, "Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything brave. Don't. I know you can handle yourself. Just don't get hurt, okay?" And she's it might not happen, but we got to look after our NPCs. I'm a bit worried now because of Sammy. There's something much more.
Yeah.
Something much more fragile. Right, here we go. I was just blathering to get a good roll. Oh, Kelly, might not have needed it. Look at that. 10 plus 2 is a 12. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. We're marking
nice
that
work.
up.
Okay.
Excellent work. Let's rub that out. Woohoo! Soraya, boom, baby, boom. Put them back on the dice rehab zone. Not that they need it.
With all right. That's taken it in a slightly different direction. All right.
Oh.
So as you go down this little narrow alley, you notice that there's quite a long route down here, just down one long block. It looks like it's a currently abandoned structure with a building that you've just walked in front of, essentially, immediately behind the bar, the inn. And that building goes back a certain distance, but then it's got a fairly extensive sort of yard behind it, which is fenced off. And that seems to go all the way out to the edge of the desert. This all seems to be one block. So there is no turn back to the left here at all.
Oh, so it's going straight out to the desert from here. There's no left or right escape.
There's a right.
Okay.
As soon as you go a little way down, there's more than one, actually. There are a couple of right-hand turns that you could take to sort of go back, essentially in the same direction you were going before you turned off. Behind the inn. There are a couple of routes down there to various small areas of housing and business, but mostly cheap housing at this far out on the arrangements of the ring. But there's no way of doubling back on yourself here, because this one property basically stretches all the way down to the desert.
Okay. So I've come down the alleyway. So my only way is now there's no left-hand turn at all left to me. All there is I've got some turn-offs to the right. And I guess if I turned 180 degrees, I could walk back the way I came. Is that what we're saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. How narrow is this alleyway?
Wider than some, narrower than others. It's effectively around about 3 meters.
Okay, thank you. Is it empty of people? Well, not now, but is it empty of people apart from us?
Yeah, essentially, it looks quiet.
Okay, I'm gonna. How near is the first turning to the right?
Around about 10 meters away.
Okay. Can I walk to the first turning and carefully peer around it?
Yes, certainly. Can you make a streetwise check for me with intellect, please?
11.
Okay.
The rehab zone
Essentially,
is working.
you can see as you look down it, there are arrangements for entrance to sort of small holdings all the way down.
Okay. 8 messages, moderator. What are you posting, Fids? Just 8 messages at a time. I'm going to pull Rose down that alleyway. Then I'm going to count to about 5. And then I'm going to step back into the alleyway from whence we came, facing back the way we came, if that made sense.
Yes. Okay. All right, so you're going to stop there, basically in cover, and keep an eye backwards.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, while you're doing that, let's cut to Stefan then. So, Stefan, you are essentially following this slightly shady figure, shall we say, down the alley. As soon as he sees them turn off, he quickens his pace to close up to them. Now that he realizes they're not going to be able to see what he's doing, and they won't spot him. Are you going to accelerate as well?
Stefan will keep pace, I guess, and then as he turns the corner, Stefan will do the same. He'll quicken to try and catch up with him. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. So you're basically trying to match his pace rather than catch him.
Yeah, until he's out of sight, and then Stefan will
then do the
sprint.
same thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. As quietly as possible, obviously.
Can you roll a deception check for me with Dex, please?
Ooh. Yes. I don't know why I checked my sheet before saying yes. I could have a -3 and I could still do it. That's pretty good though. That's a 10 plus 2 overall. It's a 12. Luckily, I've been keeping these ones warm. Touch wood.
Yeah. Okay. You manage to disguise what you're doing, do it very subtly and quietly. You make your way up to the corner, and you see he has stepped down it, and he's made it just a few meters down. It's very, very quiet down there. There's nobody coming or going. He is walking softly, and his hands seem to be tucked in his pockets. And he is walking carefully, but not that slowly. You know, he's making progress down towards the first of the turnings to the right.
Just quickly, is he armoured that I can see?
He's wearing loose-fitting clothing, sort of quite loose-fitting trousers and a jacket. So it's entirely possible he is armoured, but underneath some fairly loose clothing.
Clothes.
Based on his bulk, it's possible.
And a face clear face mask.
Clear face mask.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I completely got carried away by his loose-fitting clothing.
Wow.
He gets to the first turn off. Did you say?
Towards it. Right?
He's approaching the first turn off now. Yeah.
Perfect. Stefan will. He'll keep pace for the time being.
All right. Now, as I understand it, when he gets to that first turn off, he's going to be right with Rose and Soraya.
What I want to do is, if I'm sort of spying on that,
Yep.
when he's sort of, I guess, halfway towards that turn off, so still a few metres away, which I'm guessing as Stefan's approaching the end, I want to sort of, Soraya will sort of make a big show of pulling Rose around the corner, she'll keep Rose behind that corner, I guess, but she'll sort of look back, kind of over her shoulder slightly at Rose, and as she comes around and says, "I told you this wasn't the way. Oh, hello."
Okay. Can you roll a deception check for me, please, with intellect?
Yes, I can.
And this will be an opposed roll.
Oh. 10 with 1, intellect 11, minus 1 for jack of all trades is 10.
Okay. Immediately you see he appears to relax. Almost smiles. It's like, "Excuse me," and steps aside to let you wander out.
How close are they at this point, Ben?
They are about 10 meters from you, Stefan, and they are on top of each other, effectively, right next to each other.
Sorry, go on.
No, carry on.
You sure? Because
yeah, it's all timing now, isn't it? I'm trying to think what I need to do would be before that. I want to make sure I'm not going to go past him because I want to make sure I'm not within arm's length, if that makes sense. So she'll just sort of step back to me, and then I'm going to pause, and then I can say, "Oh, I recognise you. Weren't you outside? You were outside Uma's place, weren't you?"
Are you going past him as you say that?
No, I've backed up a little bit because I don't want to be within arm's length. So.
Okay. So you're still closer towards the desert than him, not closer towards the centre of the town.
Yeah, he's between me. So it's
So
me, him,
he's
Stefan.
still between you and Stefan.
Yeah.
All right. And Stefan has essentially just reached the corner behind you when you say this.
Yeah.
Okay. So he says, Yeah, I work for Emma.
And then she'll sort of half place playfully, if she can get it out, that is, say, "You weren't following us, were you?"
I wasn't following anybody. This is my neighbourhood, you know.
Oh. Your neighbourhood. I've never been down here before. It's an interesting neighbourhood. Where's Stefan got? So is Stefan at the corner?
Stefan is now visible to you, yes, behind behind the man.
Let me just check something.
Stefan will make his way closer, I guess. How far away? You say about 10?
Around about 10 meters.
Okay. Yeah. He'll make his way sort of half that slowly,
Um,
if that makes sense, and
Yeah,
then
so closing the distance, but not at a rush.
yeah.
so I will say, do you know a girl called Suda?
Yeah, I know Suda.
Oh man, I've just met her. She seems lovely. Um, my name's Stephanie. What's yours?
He smiles slightly and nods. He says, "Wyden."
Wyden. Stephanie. Wider than this alleyway. Ha 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 ha. She says something nervously.
Sorry, Ben, can I just jump in? Once the 5 meters has been closed slowly, Stefan's going to sprint the rest and take a swing for the guy.
Okay. All right. Can you quickly do me a athletics dexterity with dexterity check for me?
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's a 10 plus 4.
Excellent. And can you also, to find out whether he hears you coming, can you do a stealth check with dex?
Oh, do I push it or do I use the boon now?
The boon.
It's basically the question of whether or not he gets to hear you just before you arrive.
Sure, I'm gonna use the boon.
Yeah.
Which could possibly be a good thing. That's a 7 plus. Sorry, did you say streetwise?
Stealth plus
Stealth.
dex plus dex.
Cool. So yeah, it's a 7 plus 3 is a 10.
A 10. Okay.
Thanks, Kelly. You saved me from using the 2.
You arrive. He is completely unaware that you are there, and you are. When you get there, you're going to do what exactly?
Stefan's going to get as close as he can, and then just quite calmly say "surprise" and punch him with the knuckle blasters. Rather, he'll aim for the head, I guess. It's sort of less. He knows that's not as. He knows the armor that is there if there is any, opposed to whatever could be beneath his baggy, loose clothing.
So, are you actually triggering the knuckle blasters at the same time?
Yeah, he will do.
Okay, all right.
So I said that we're going to do a murder. So
get your dice all warmed up.
Yeah.
He draws back his fist. He says, "Surprise!" and slams his fist towards. And that's where we're going to take our break.
Oh.
Tell me you couldn't see that coming.
Oh, a mile off.
And now I've got to keep these in my hand the whole time.
You've got to keep them hot and sweaty, those dice, for sure.
Yeah.
It is, for chat, it is very much putting 2 and 2 together at a minute. We might be making 4.5, but I don't think we're more than 0.5 away.
Maybe even less than that.
What's the margin of error on this one?
To be fair, and even if he is innocent, Stefan is the one that we need to kill innocents with. So, gardeners, locals,
Tried and tested.
Oh, Nightbot. Right, we're going to sort something out. Right, let's take a few minute break while I try and sort out Nightbot and calm my heart down. Ewan's going to keep his dice warm. And Ben's going to work out what on earth we're doing. The smile on his face hides 1,000 thoughts.
Right, back in 5.
See you guys in a few.
Let
me get this thing started. Hang on. Oh, I need to move it up, to be honest. It's too far down. Let's do that. But then I need to get rid of that and that. Hang on a sec. Bear with me, everyone. Hang on. Come on. There. This is what you're here for, the slick half-time performance. And then we'll do the intro. Let's get some music on. Let's get rid of that. Welcome back, everyone. The toast is done. Ah! A bit of the guns for you guys. Thank you, legit. Welcome back with the guns. Right. So yes, sorry, the break is done, not the toast. That's what we're just about to do. And it's falling on me at the minute to tell the toast and to celebrate a much loved. It really does make me jump. I was so loud at the start. A much beloved former, sadly, member of the crew. But he may be a former member of the crew, but he's an eternal member of our heart. And in fact, I've got a feeling that his sticker might be in the 11-month subscription pack. A Grey Hill Bast sticker. Can you believe it? That is something to look forward to, all you guys. I think it's that pack. Very exciting. But I think it's very important still, I'm rolling my sleeves up now, to pay homage to the great man. And it's very important that we pay homage respectfully by keeping our glasses raised for the length of the toast, as is now tradition. Mm-hmm. I wrote a poem for him. I hope that's fine. It took me all day, and I hope we all appreciate it. So it comes from the heart. Okay.
All your own work.
All my own work. All my own work. I'll watch you pour drinks like a very old barman, and I'll see you stranded at the bar for those who took you as a fool. They try and have their revenge, but you owe nothing, nothing at all. You owe them nothing, no, nothing at all. You owe them nothing, nothing, nothing at all. Nothing at all. Oh, no. You'd watch them suffer with no feelings at all. You see them desperate, you don't hear their call unless it is for booze. And he who pours last owes nothing, sweet nothing, nothing at all. I was yours and you were mine, but then you ran around on a planet and got in the way of gunfire. You got big, big, big trouble. Oh. And we let you die. And I owe you everything. Everything. I owe you everything. To the late, great Grey Hill Bast.
To Grey Hill Bast.
Grey Hill Bast.
And there was me worried we were going to have another 2 minutes of Spice Girls.
Well, you got a bit of Bros. one step back.
Yeah, I'm not complaining.
I feel some more Spice Girls songs in my veins, actually.
To Grey Hill. To Grey Hill.
To Grey Hill. To Grey Hill. Right. There we go. Main bars. Stefan, in honour of his punching someone in the face with shotgun shells.
Well, when you put it like that, Luke, it sounds out of order.
It does slightly. So
skimming over the bigger picture.
Yeah, welcome if you've just joined us to Stefan's murder hour.
Any further ado, let us move on to the violence part of the evening. So, Stefan needs to roll his choice of strength or dex plus his melee weapons.
Yes, melee unarmed.
Melee unarmed, yes.
Wonderful.
Yes. No.
That's 9 plus 3.
12. Okay. That's +4 onto the standard damage. Can you remember what damage they do?
I have 5D written down.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. So 5d +4, please.
That's some good rolls. 26.
Does that include the +4?
Yes.
Okay.
That does indeed.
All right.
30 would be ridiculous, Ben.
Yeah, it would. 30 would be, frankly, overkill at this point. Okay. He doesn't even have time to react to your comment in his ear as the fist lands. The shotgun shells obliterate large parts of the side of his head, shatter the mask, and his knees just go instantly like wet spaghetti, and he drops dead to the ground. The noise of the blast is quite not carried that far because of the thin atmosphere, and it's not exactly a quiet town anyway. There are ships taking off and landing all the time in the environment. There's a wind. There's a bit of noise from the town, and it's just one sudden blasted shot. It's not that out of place.
Car backfiring. The wind was me. Sorry, it was a nervous moment.
Stefan just looks up at Sarai. Are you all right?
Yeah, thanks, mate. I appreciate that a lot. She sort of leans over, does a fist bump, and then a hug with the other arm, and squeezes him in. And,
it was good teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Do we need anything of this? Do you want to? I mean, out into the desert.
Let me see what he's carrying first, and then if you can yeet him, that'd be help. We could do that. Yeah.
Well, we could try.
Okay, so I'd like to search his pockets, please.
Okay. Can you roll for me an investigation check, please, with intellect?
Mm-hmm. Investigation. -1.
Can Stefan? Sorry, can Stefan just keep an eye out whilst this is going on?
Yeah. Yes, that'll be a streetwise check for Stefan as well, please, with intellect.
8 + 1 - 1 is 8.
Okay. And Stefan?
Mine is an 8 + 2.
Ooh.
It's a 10.
Excellent. Okay, you don't see anyone coming down the little alley from either direction during your little survey. There's no sign anyone spotted anything out of order. So when you get searching the pockets and the jacket and everything else, you find you've got a communication device, pretty standard kind of thing.
Yeah.
A separate credit chip.
Do we know how much is on it? Can we tell at this point?
Yeah, you can immediately punch it up. It's about 7,000 credits.
Okay.
Other than that, he has a few spare filters for his face mask.
Mm-hmm.
He has a little hip flask of some fairly cheap-smelling spirits. He has a fairly substantial gravity knife.
Oh. Tell us more about gravity knives, please.
This is a knife. Think of it like a switchblade, but without a spring in it. It relies on either the flick of your wrist or just the weight of the blade coming out to lock it in the out position.
Was it in the pocket that he had his hand in?
It was in one of the pockets he had a hand in, yes. In the other pocket is a fairly well-maintained looking Gauss pistol.
Rose, what weapons you got at the minute?
She holds her hands up. I'm not carrying anything.
Oh. Have you ever held a Gauss pistol before? How do you feel about holding a dead man's gun?
I feel better me holding it than him.
Soraya checks that has it got charge? I take it. It's got.
Yep. Yeah, it's loaded.
And hands it over to Rose.
She'll tuck it away in her jacket. Thanks.
Okay. She'll sort of wave the knife at Stefan and say, "Do you want this or can I have it?" Like my hand to hand isn't great, so you might have more skill with it than me.
I kind of like it, but if you want it, it's it's yours.
To the brutal murderer of the spoils.
I mean, you put it like that.
Well, to be fair, we don't know he wasn't a gardener.
Exactly, yeah. Oh man, the Gardeners Guild will well be on us. If that's two. Yeah. Check his device, and the last he's part of a WhatsApp group for the Gardeners Guild. So, oh no. It's been 2 months since our friend and brother died brutally.
It's a fairly conventional gravity knife, but it does have it's a good blade on it, a really good blade.
Am I right in thinking they kind of open up, don't they? There's kind of like a hinge in the handle.
That would be more like a butterfly knife. The
not all the way, but like partly, and then the blade comes out and then it closes back to lock it up.
Some do work that way. This one actually has a trigger catch on the bottom, which releases it, and it just slides straight out from the grip, which is big enough to accommodate the entire blade when it's folded, when it's retracted.
Ooh, nice. He'll put it in his pocket for now. Retracted. He won't. He's very tempted, but he won't start playing around with it at the just now.
Yes, yeah, it would be tacky over the dead body.
Precisely.
Okay, so you are standing in an abandoned little alley, dust swirling around over a dead body.
It will be called Fitz. Could we eat him? Not yeet, like...
I mean, that's one way to dispose of the body. Soraya.
Fail-safe way. Is there an easy... is there an easy yeeting?
There are two obvious options. You
See you later, Kelly. Thank you for being here. Sorry.
Thank you, Kelly. You could either drag him out to the desert at the end of this alleyway, which is 50 or 60 meters, and then presumably some distance out to put him beyond easy sight. Or you could get just a little bit further down the alley and try and push him over the fence of that sort of abandoned building on the side.
But then he'd be right down by the fence in the building. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, as long as the building stays abandoned and no one's there, it might be a while for him to be discovered.
Okay. What do you think, Soraya? Stefan, I say.
It does look pretty deserted back here. Looking at his injury, Ben, there is no other possible reason for his death than some horrible murder, correct?
Yeah, it would be unlikely for that to be accidental.
like we could drag him, Rose. If Rose keeps an eye out, I'm sure the two of us could drag him down there, and then sort of I want to have a poke. But I'm fascinated in these buildings, so I'd like to have a quick poke on our way back to the pub, if that's okay, for a very stiff drink.
If we're going to spend a lot of time in the buildings, do you want to take him all the way out?
Should we just take him all the way and work our way back again? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, I'm just thinking if by chance he gets discovered in the next 10, 20 minutes and we're in the building.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's take him all the way to the desert, the 60 metres, work away, poke our head in a few doorways, see what's going on, and then, yeah, go for a drink.
All right.
I'm going to take the face mask filters, always useful. Probably, I don't know, the credit, the device, and the hip flask. Everything, basically. Leave him...
Okay.
I leave him one... No. If he's fine, it's obviously a murder. But we'll make it look like people are just trying to rob him for stuff, if that makes sense. Take everything.
Turn the pockets inside out.
Yeah, leave it like that. Yeah. Rose, you okay to go ahead and keep an eye down each alleyway as we pass them?
Sure.
Cool. Okay, then I guess we would like to try and take him out into the desert beyond, please.
All right. Can you both roll a strength check, please, for me? With athletics strength.
Oh. Now. Now I roll the 3 when I've got nothing to add to it.
I'm taking the legs, right? I'm taking the light bit, right? What's it?
You've already got them in your hands, so I assume you're taking the legs. Yeah.
Yeah. The strength plus, what did you say?
Athletic strength plus
okay.
strength.
Okay, so that's a 0 for my strength and a -1 for my jack of all trades. Would that count for that, Ben? Before?
Yeah.
I've done some keepy uppies on the chin ups on my ship. Never been to an actual gym, but when I'm bored.
And you've got some practice out swimming fish.
Exactly right.
Very true.
My biceps have been amazing since then. Oh, that was good actually. 9.
Okay. And what was your total, Stefan?
3.
3. Okay. You find it essentially impractical to lift him, but you are able, after a bit of shuffling around, to get under his armpits and literally drag him down the dirt out towards the desert. It's not as subtle. You're going to leave a bit of a drag trail, but only if somebody's really looking for it, you understand. Mm-hmm. But you do eventually, after a fair amount of huffing and puffing, drag him out beyond the town limits and out into the desert. And any thought that you want to carry him a bit further out and maybe disguise the body is interrupted by the sight of a Moamph in the distance that is closing fast on your position, possibly scenting the blood.
That's good. That's good. Let's
leave him. Let's leave him to the wild. Oh.
We don't have to outrun the Moamph. We just have to outrun the dead body.
That's theoretically true. Let's find out how true it is. Yeah, that's true enough, it turns out. Yes, by the time you've made it back into the alley and cast a nervous glance over your shoulder, the Moamph has begun to dispose of the evidence for you.
Mother Nature heals itself. So I was just going to tip some of the... look for some of the trail that we've done and sort of try and kick the dust a little bit. She's going to pour the contents of the hip flask just over the thing at different points and sort of kick it each way to just try and mess it up a little bit again.
Yeah, okay. Yes, fair enough.
And then
I was going to suggest that we walk backwards through our own footprints, so it looks as though 2 people walked out dragging something. Then there was a dead body and there's no one around.
Oh.
Nobody came back. No, it's a ridiculous idea. I don't actually think we should do it in game. But it'll be a classic over-the-top murder mystery.
So much, yeah, we'd never do one of those. So most of the way back, of course, you're walking past this this fence to the abandoned structure on your right now. You said you wanted to take a look at it.
Yeah, 'cause there's one thing you'd said, which was he seemed to. It might just be a comment on how he was, but Sarah would have spotted that when she came back around the corner, he looked relieved, as if he had been sort of worried about someone snooping around down those parts. Might not be. He might have been relieved because he thought he'd lost us. But yeah, it's a suspicious looking area, so we'd love to have a look.
Okay. Do you want to sort of try and hop the fence at the back, or do you want to walk round to one of the doors into the actual building?
What do you think, Mr. Dexterity?
Sorry, what were the options? I was just marking off my ammo.
Oh yeah.
You could essentially, on your way back up the alley, you could hop the fence into the backyard of this seemingly abandoned building, or you could keep going back until you're in the main alleyway between the back of the inn and the front of that building, and try a door there.
Let's take the shortcut. And Stefan nods over towards the fence.
Okay.
Stefan, you're all action today. I must admit, I like it.
This will be athletic strength plus strength, please.
Wow.
After you.
Stefan takes a running
No,
start at the wall or the fence and gets a 6 plus 0 plus 0.
I was picturing the scene from like Shaun of the Dead and that way, or where he just like falls through the fence.
Yep. It's not quite that bad because the fence doesn't collapse. It's much more sturdy than that. But effectively, Stefan kind of Garfields against the outside of the fence. Yeah.
Hey, Stefan, Rose, why don't you both give me a boost up? You're pretty strong, Stefan. Have you been working out, Stefan?
Hold on, I'm nearly there. He hasn't moved.
Scrabbling.
Just catching my breath. Maximum effort.
Yeah, sure. That sounds like a good idea.
So, yes. So, there's no way Sarai would make it on, again, with that strength. I only did it last time because the roll was good. So, yes. With a bit of help from the friends, if that's possible, please.
Okay. Let's see what Rose can do. So, if Stefan and Rose can each roll a strength plus athletic strength. Oh.
That's better. So 9 from me, plus nothing.
And an 8 from Rose total. Not too bad. So, so can you now, for you can effectively take a +1 into your roll to hop the fence, Soraya.
Thank you. And what do I need for that?
That will be strength plus athletic strength again.
Okay, so that's -1. Oh, so it balances out. It's a flat 0. Let's see if I can do better than Stefan. Better, but only by 1. 7.
A 7?
Yeah.
Okay. Between you, working together in careful coordination as a team, you manage to get Soraya's fingertips several inches closer to the top of the wall than Stefan's. But not actually at the top of the wall.
What type of fence is this, Ben?
It's essentially a solid, synthetically made, but fairly sort of shiny metal wall.
Okay.
It's completely plain. There are no markings or anything like that on it. the only coloration, as is quite common with lots of things around here, it's sort of painted fairly bright blue.
Oh, lovely.
And in practical terms, it's around about just a little under 3 meters tall.
Okay. Stefan will look up at Soraya and he'll just say, "Oh, it's a shame Agnar's not here. Did he tell you that his armor's got magnetic grapples? He'd just walk up that thing."
I'd love to see it. It'd send me all a woozy.
So would I.
What I do have, and she sort of reaches into her. So that wasn't her going. She reached into something. That was the noise of that music. She reaches into her many sort of pockets and containers. She sort of pulls out the tool laser. So
okay.
It does a little. Now I wonder if this would work. Does this feel like overkill, Stefan?
I don't know. If I'm honest, I don't know how thick the wall is.
How thick is wall?
Knots on the metal. Doesn't sound like that.
By eye from one side, it's hard to tell, but it doesn't look really thin. It's not sort of warped or there doesn't appear to be any significant cracking of it. It's fairly sturdy.
I've got many things I can blow it up with, but the question is, do we want to? Is it easy just to go through?
Now that seems like overkill.
I've got some explosive, I've got some TDX, I've got my laser, I've got some toolkits. No breaching charges, sadly. But, I don't know. Something tells me it's going to be more effort trying to get in here than just going and looking at the front.
I think if we start blowing things up, we might draw a bit too much attention to ourselves.
That is true.
I was worried in the alley, that the shot would draw attention to us. And I'll be honest, I'll be even more worried if we start detonating things.
Should we go and see if we can get in through the doorway then?
But I don't want to cramp your style.
You'd never cramp my style. All you've ever done for me, Stefan, is to help me grow and develop as a person. From someone from an honoured military background, doing very well in a military academy, you've helped me grow to drop out and spend 12 years on my own in a rusty old ship, and spend the last months drinking heavily and watching as you kill innocent people. It's been an absolute delight.
Let's go try the door. And Stefan walks off.
So I skips after him. Alrighty, kids in. Come on. Me and you, man. SNS.
Oh, I know.
Come on.
Sometimes you can't joke about the truth. You'll give her a little nudge and a wink.
All right. You make it back up to the main route. It's not a big alleyway that you're aiming for, but it's a little bit more walked, and you can now see a few people milling about in the distance. Just in front of you and to the right, of course, is the rear entrance to the pub where your two friends are waiting. And if you turn right and look along the front, you can see at the front of the building you've just walked down, you can see that there are two fairly small basic entrances, one at each end of this frontage, and a substantially larger, more imposing looking one directly in the middle of the frontage.
Soraya, before we try, do you want to drop that communicator to Kara?
Now that is a very good idea.
Maybe check that it's not being, it's not sending off our location or anything.
Good call.
And then possibly find out if there's anything better on it.
Fantastic. That's an excellent idea. Hey, Rose, come in with me. Come on. Let's. Why don't you come and hang with Kara for a little bit? I feel like you've seen enough misery for the day. Is Rose happy to go into the pub?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I push my way through, psh, 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 and in Soraya and Rose enter then.
Okay. Is Stefan going with at all? Or is he sneaking still?
He'll hang around. He'll hang out in the alley for a little bit.
Okay. Are you going to spend a bit of time investigating the front of the building as you do?
I think he'd maybe give it a minute and then probably get a little bit interested. And
all right. Can you just quickly roll an investigation check for me with intellect?
Yes. That's a 7 minus 3 overall. Is a 4.
Okay. You don't get what you call an enormous amount of information. However, you do notice an old and faded sign by the door that indicates that the building was at one time used as part of the administration building, administration network for the subsector. It was some form of government or Quango type office.
Sorry, it was a what? Sorry, I was trying to sort something.
It was a government office of some kind.
So the deserted building was government office. Okay.
Okay. Cool. And then we'll just hang out and wait, I guess.
All right. So inside the inn, Degek's Inn is a shrine to Varga heroes, shall we say. All over the walls, and the decor is made up of Varga sports stars and politicians and people of note. Degek himself is behind the bar and is quite noticeably Varga, in fact. He has created a Varga inn for his own personal tastes, and there are some quite resplendent Varga on the walls. The place is, I mean, this time of the day it's not exactly heaving, but it's reasonably busy. There are a few people chatting, and quietly in one corner you can see Zoe and Kara in a sort of booth against the wall.
Cool. Soraya will start by walking straight to the bar. As she looks around, as she approaches, for goodness sake, that's the most scary noise.
Why would she say that to a bar?
It's like, oh! It's so loud. You need to do some resplending, Ben. You need to show off your Varga, your inner Varga.
Right. I shall do my best.
God, look at those forearms.
Forearms over firearms, remember?
Forearms over that is the tattoo. I tell you, it's Grey Hills. I was going to get it. It's Grey Hills head with forearms over firearms.
Where would you get
school.
it?
I don't know. On my forearm. Yeah. I've got a spot right here. Actually, I've got a spot right here. Grey Hill head with forearms. It's happening.
Yeah, sorry, Legitimine. If you haven't understood the backstory to this, it probably feels really weird. But yes. So yes, you're going up to the bar.
Yep. As she's there, she's looking to desperately see if she can see an old, a military, sign-up poster with Teal on rack on it. Is there any rack Is there any visible?
Not that you can see, I'm afraid. No.
Is there any visible Agnar?
Funnily enough, no.
Pushing it.
Well, little baby. Hello.
Welcome. What can I get for you?
This is a wonderful place, by the way. It's a beautiful thing. Some of my best friends. No, not some of my best friends are Varg. No. This is beautiful. I've never been in such a resplendent Varga inn before.
Ah, thank you. I mean, I think everyone appreciates a bit of the Varga culture, especially when they got a drink in their hand.
But I'll tell you what, I've travelled to many places, and I must say the Varga do have some of the best drinking songs.
Some of the best.
19 out of 20 ain't bad. I did hear a pretty good one in the marshes once, but that was a long time ago. Do you have any mimosas at all?
We do the finest mimosa in the entire galaxy.
Fantastic. It's have you got the time, by the way? What time is it?
It's about. It'll be around about early afternoon, 1 o'clock, something like that.
Afternoon brunch time. Could I have 4 mimosas, please? And do you want anything yourself, dear sir?
Bit early for me to start, as people will be buying me drinks throughout the afternoon. You understand, but thank you. The thought's kind.
I'll put a mimosa in the wood for you later on, just in case.
Thank you. I shall.
Cool. Are we talking usual sort of prices? I can just drop like 15, 20 off.
Yeah, I mean, in a place like this, you can probably get away with, 15 will be about right.
Okay. She sort of sips the first one as it's put on the thing. That's lovely. You're not lying. It's delicious. Much needed. You would not believe how much I need this. And she just downs it, the rest of it, puts it back there, and hands one to Rose, and heads over to Cara and Zoe's table.
Okay. You find the two of them sitting there. You know, they've been keeping abreast of the information that's been sent electronically, you understand, but there's a lot they may have missed out on.
Okay. First up, she'll say, so you know that guy that she'll sort of say it to Zoe for the sake of a good conversation, I think. So you know that guy that Stefan, that quiet, looking around, make sure there's no one paying attention. You know that guy that Stefan was following? And she carefully pulls out the communicator and slides it over to Cara. It says, this is his communicator. And then she pulls out the hip flask and slides it across to Cara and says, and this is his hip flask. And she points at a little fleck of red that's splattered on the side of her glove and said, and I think this is some of his brain.
Gardner, was he?
I think Stefan was under that impression, but we won't know for sure until Cara has a closer look at his device.
Sure.
Now, Stefan and I, we're going to have a look. There's a building opposite that looks interesting. Rose has seen a lot for the day, and Rose might say otherwise, but you'd have seen from some of the communication, the Uma's place was harrowing, quite frankly. And I don't want to speak for you, Rose, but I just thought it'd be nice that you could come and hang out in a bar with Cara for a bit. And Zoe, if you fancied stretching your legs for a bit.
Yeah, love to.
Is that all right with you, Rose? Is that okay? Hang here, do some hacking stuff and sort of have a couple of mimosas.
Yeah, as soon as she's sort of had one sip of her drink, she pushes the remainder of it across to the others at the table, and gets up and joins you. And as you're sort of standing up and walking away, she says, "So we're going to pay Omar a visit, right?"
She's very much on near the top of our to-do list. Yes. Is that something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I think that will make the trip worthwhile.
Let's make a promise now that we'll make sure that you're at the very centre of our dealings with her.
Thank you, appreciated.
Okay, let's go find our boy Stefan. I'll tell you all about how amazing he was, as we wander out.
All right. Okay. So you find your way out into the alley, and Stefan is looking extremely nonchalant, of course, as he stands there minding his own business and in no way paying attention to anything at all that's going on. Which means he spots the two of you come out instantly, and you wander over to join him, pretty much in the middle of that sort of section of the alley, directly opposite the main door, where that notice is indicating the building used to be a government building.
I like to think that as we approach, the first thing Stefan hears as we approach is Soraya sort of saying to Zoe, saying, one sec. And then he said, "Surprise." And that going, and then, anyway, hey Stefan, you all right?
Zoe smiles and looks at Stefan and says, "And was he surprised?" I mean,
it's hard to tell. In all honesty,
briefly.
Okay, so so what's first on the agenda?
Now, I might be paranoid because I've been in some very paranoia inflicting places over the last hour or so. But when the guy was following us and we sort of came back from around the corner, he suddenly looked... I don't know if he was just sort of relaxing because he'd not lost us, or that we weren't going in directions he didn't want. And it just got me thinking about some of these supposedly deserted looking places around here, and if there might be more to it than meets the eye, and if there might be something of interest. You know what, we've still got a couple of days to kill, you know, and if we are doing what we suggested in the pub, nudge nudge wink wink, then, you know, finding other properties might be of interest.
Okay.
So, Stefan, have you found out anything about this place yet?
It's an old government building. He points up to the sign.
Oh, your detective work is good.
I know. I don't like to brag.
Zoe gently taps him on the shoulder and said, "You should. You read the whole sign."
And then he sort of plays it cool, and are we by the door?
Yeah, right opposite it. Yeah.
He'll say, "Well, shall we?" And he'll just go to straight walk through the door and push it open.
Whoa!
Okay.
This new Stefan, my goodness.
Well, I'm half expecting it to be locked and to him just to bump into it, if I'm honest.
The door is in fact locked. Yeah. However, he's not built up much of a head of speed just stepping across the alley, so he doesn't make complete fool of himself. He just sort of goes, and it's stopped.
Yeah. And then I guess getting that jarring stop of momentum, he'll say, "Well, of course it's locked. Got any suggestions?"
Well, there was the two smaller doors that might be worth trying out. While we do that, while we walk there, why don't you tell Zoe about how you outrun a dead body and there was a Moanth? Don't don't play yourself down. You know, you've been amazing, Steve.
You haven't got to the moment part yet. Oh. Well, let me tell you a story, and for the sake of our viewers, and not going over it again.
All right. So, to cut a long story short, if Soraya is investigating the other two doors, the two sort of ones on the sides of the building,
yes, please.
They are also both locked. They give the very strong impression, if you push against them, that they are more than locked. They are dead-bolted, barricaded, barred, bolted from the inside. That they don't have that sense of just a single point holding them closed.
Interesting. Locked from the inside. Very, very interesting. I'm guessing there's no other way to the other side of that fence, is there?
Not that you saw, no.
Can I do like a slow walk around, I guess, to just try and see if there's anything obvious that's been missed, any weak points, any.
What, right around the whole property?
Yeah, even if it takes just to see if there's something that's missed, I guess.
It'll take you a few minutes.
Yeah.
Because it's quite large. There is at the far end of the yard, facing out into the desert, there is a fairly substantial looking gate in the rear part of the fence, but it too is very sturdily locked.
Interesting. This looks like it might be beyond our current powers, Stefan. Unless you've got something that I don't know.
I think you may be right. As much as I hate to admit it. Zoe, you got anything? Anything you can do with a locked door?
She looks at you for a moment and then she says, "Is it important?"
Not right now. I guess. I think it was more piquing an interest. The most important thing is probably finding out what's on the guy's device, right, Stefan?
That could be helpful.
I mean, I could try and pick the lock, basically.
I'm not against an attempted lockpick. How busy is it around those parts?
It's quiet. I mean, you can see people, but they're not sort of crowded around you. Understand? They're off in the distance and minding their own business.
Shall we see if you can go for it, Stefan?
Yeah.
A Hail Mary, a shot to nothing.
Sure. I mean, we're not getting anywhere.
All right.
Otherwise, are we?
She says, if you could each keep an eye in one direction, I'll have a go.
Okay.
Okay. You've barely turned your backs in order to look out in the various directions when there's suddenly a fairly heavy sounding click.
Oh.
And she says, "I think that's got it."
Oh, I got the skills, Zoe. A woman of many talents. That's what I always tell you, isn't it, Stefan? A woman of many talents.
You were just saying it about 40 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. I knew she was. You were the right. You were the right person for now. You're the right person for all the time, Zoe. But we just felt that you needed a 5 minutes out. A sit down.
Sure. Can you each roll a quick streetwise check for me, please, with intellect?
Ooh, not bad. On a cold dice.
Oh. Mine's an 11.
Oh, mine's
Okay.
Mine's 10. Very good.
All right. Possibly prompted by Kara's previous noticing of something a bit unusual about Zoe.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't completely not paying attention to what she was doing. She in no way took out any kind of lock-picking device. She just put her fingers against the outside of the door and you heard the click.
Yeah.
Man, I need to get me some telekinesis.
It's really hard to get. And I go, good luck picking, Zoe. Thank you.
She takes a pace back and says, "After you."
So I take a step back and looks at Stefan and says, no, after you.
Stefan will do exactly what he did at the other door. And just say, well, shall we? And walks straight through the door.
Okay.
This time, slightly more confident.
Just like the last
Stefan
10 minutes.
pushes open the door. This one has a double door airlock arrangement, and perhaps surprisingly, it doesn't appear to be in poor repair. The filters seem to be new. You can actually hear the power in the building as you walk in, flushing the air and handling the filtration. Designed as it was for quite a large, passage of people, there's plenty of room in this airlock space for all of you. So once you're all in, you close the outer door. The inner door opens automatically. Again, power is present in the building. And you step forward into a fairly smart, extremely clean and well-maintained looking, but completely empty building. The floors are polished. The walls are made of patterned stone. It looks like a very, very nicely appointed building. And that's where we're going to call it for tonight.
Mysterious room.
Well, at least we've got a nice surrounding for Stefan and Zoe and Soraya to spend the next week.
It's certainly nicer than the last one.
Yeah, I feel we've definitely gone up in the world.
True.
Thank you, Ben. That was a roller coaster tonight.
Yes, indeed.
Well, thank you guys, and thank you everyone in chat and coming along and watching.
We've got a Rose's cat as well.
Oh, hang on.
Ah, have we? Okay.
Thank you, Sparrow.
We will squeeze in a Rose's cat because it's only fair.
Correct. You must have seen the movies. You must have read the book.
Right. So, meanwhile, on the Baltic Star, there was complete silence and stillness. The entire ship was dark. It was unusual for the liner to be this quiet, of course. Even when docked and largely inactive, there would usually be crew aboard. There would be light. The life support would operate. So would the artificial gravity. Not today. The ship was under the control of only its computer. This computer had been instructed to shut down every system on the Baltic Star, one at a time, until nothing but the computer was operating. It would remain this way for 12 hours, and then, one by one, each system would be started in turn and carefully monitored before the next system was engaged. It was called a module test. In theory, there was no reason for the crew to leave the ship. They wouldn't run out of breathable air in just a dozen hours, and the computer had all sorts of fail-safe systems that would ensure it started any required systems immediately. The problem was that there wasn't reason. The problem wasn't that there was reason to leave the ship. The problem was that there was no reason to stay. No reason at all. No light, no power, no warmth or cooling, come to that. So while the Baltic Star carried out her test, the crew visited the alleged delights of the orbiting shipyard and naval base. All of the crew. Kronsorama had manufactured an improvised cat storage and transport solution from a holdall. He'd cut large panels out of both ends and replaced those with a mesh material. Inside, he'd made some simple hoops out of plastic and pushed them into both ends to ensure the bag couldn't collapse. He'd then inserted the bemused kitten and placed the whole affair in a pressure case for the trip to the station. Once there, the bag, and its included cat, could be lifted out and taken wherever Sarama went, like a shoulder bag. He considered it a perfect solution. Caboodle did not consider it perfect. It was comfortable enough, but after only a few minutes she began to want to walk, or run, or find somewhere to sleep. Inside the bag, all she could do was peer out through the mesh panels as the world passed her by, and she gently bounced up and down on the engineer's hip. But of course, that wasn't all she could do. Not at all. She began to plan her escape.
Nobody puts Kitty in the corner.
Right too.
That's good stuff, man.
Nice. And a cliffhanger on a Rose's cat.
Oh, totally clipping. Strong Kronsorama episode. I'm always up for that.
Well, it's actually quite nice that you get to know a bit about Sarama and Axis when they're not with the crew, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like those guys. I'm a big fan of those guys. But they never, because I guess they're the engineers, they're the ones that have come off the ship the least often. I think Axis came off for something, but yeah, not much. Oh, nice. Thank you, Ben. I really appreciate that.
No problem at all.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's been enormous fun, as always. And tomorrow night, at roughly the same kind of time, about 11 o'clock, we are doing the thing with the saving of my best friend.
What, you mean my best friend?
Oh, that's a wholly different person. I mean, my best friend.
But are you talking? So you're not talking about Dave then?
Yeah, that's the one, Dave.
It must be a different Dave you're talking about. You must be talking
I'm
about
sure
Dave
you know
Higgs,
it.
right? Yeah, I know Dave. He's my best friend.
Somebody's best friend will be
It's
saved.
so kind of him to let. It's just so Dave for him to let you believe that. It's.
I guess at least we can both agree that he's not Sparrow's best friend.
Well, he can't be. He's my best friend.
Exactly.
So yes, tomorrow night at about 11, we will be saving Dave once again because it turns out he just can't stay unsaved.
Oh, this Dave. Is he worth the saving? I've started to lose faith in him a little bit. I know it's hard to say as his best friend, but
If you were truly his best friend, you wouldn't say something like that.
Sometimes best friends have to step up and say something for their own good.
It's an intervention.
You're just like a lackey, a follower, a yes man.
I'm no such thing. Not that it wouldn't be an honour.
An honour to be Dave's lackey. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ugh.
So yes, that's what we're doing then. And then you're doing a Spooky Sunday, aren't you, Luke?
Yeah, we'll do old Deliver Us the Moon.
I'm really enjoying that one.
Good, isn't it?
It's good.
Good.
I was heartbroken when I think it was going to be ported to Nintendo Switch, which is the only console I have, and then they pulled it, so it will no longer be available.
So the only way you can experience it is vicariously through
It's
me.
through Luke, yeah, which is good.
AKA Astro Tool.
Astro Tool. Yep.
The Moon Man. I'm enjoying it a lot, it must be said. I'm not getting too many freak out moments because of the size and scale. I think I will do though. But I'm okay. It's good, it's a great game. Cool, so Save Dave Saturday and fetch us, bring me the moon. Deliver us the moon on Sunday. We're finishing a little bit earlier, so I think should we throw a raid in just to bring a little bit of joy?
If we can, that would be nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to send us to Tabletop Anthologies, who are always lovely and always welcoming when I pop in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're nice. Nice people.
So,
Perfect.
nice, our kind of people. Okay, so if you can hang around for...
Every people's our kind of people.
we just, especially Dave. He's my kind of people.
Dave's everyone's kind of people.
Yeah, unfortunately. Okay, Thank you, everyone. Thank you, guys. Goodbye, everyone. Farewell.
Good night.
Thanks a lot for joining us. Good night.
Bye. Let's click that. The raid's been created. Get on board the raid train. Doot, doot, doot. At least go and say hello to them. Say they're beautiful. And we're starting in the now. Whee! I'm going to stop our streaming.